Oh, yeah. Five-star. LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up. Hey, 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 way down in the back.
PA. We are live. Back. Finally back. Hey, RP's in here.
RP's back, baby.
Finally in the I appreciate you, RP. Yeah. Tyler's in here as well. Good to see you, man. Also, and we're glad to be back. I'm glad to be back, Zach. We have my family. The reason we missed last week has been sick for what seems like an eternity. We can't shake the sickness. We've all been diagnosed with strep. I have. McKenna has. Zeke had called it on probably Sunday. Started showing symptoms and whatnot Monday, and has been out Monday and Tuesday, and so that's why we didn't do a show last night. So because he went to the doctor. Anyways, it has been a whole rigmarole of a lot of garbage. So thankfully, we're starting to get better because it felt like it was never going to end, honestly. So, but Zach, a lot of great things has happened since we've been on the show.
One disgusting thing.
Huh?
One disgusting thing.
One disgusting thing.
Yep.
You talking about Alabama?
Alabama game 1.
Yes, of course. Thankfully, we did not.
Get that out the way real quick.
Yeah, because I would have lamented about it for a good bit.
Oh, Lord.
I would have pulled out Lamentations and gone full Jeremiah, weeping prophet over that game. And thankfully, we're living in the present. But, man, the past, thinking. So, Zach, just to put it in perspective, we'll talk about the Ole Miss series, and then obviously we'll talk about today, kind of recap everything that's happened. Then we'll look forward to Kentucky tomorrow, and we'll discuss postseason, obviously, and where we think we fall now, and blah, blah, blah. But, Zach, to back up a little bit, if you win that game, what's up, Ryan? If you win that game against Alabama, you're not in this whole bubble conversation that we've all been having to talk about. Well, get to 13 wins. Well, this, well, that, well, that. If you win that stinking game, if you make the one single throw, if you don't blow a 4-run lead in the 8th inning, if you don't walk 2 batters, hit a batter, then anyway. You are literally sitting at 14 SEC wins, which jumps you from the 11 seed to the 7 seed.
Ding, 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 ding.
To the 7 seed, and it firmly puts you in the field, and you're not on the bubble. But thankfully, like I said, we're living in the present. The whole time, Zach, we have been saying, get to 13 wins, get to 13 wins.
Yeah.
Well, although you failed beating Alabama, which I really, really wanted to finish the end of the year 5-0 after starting 0-5. But although you dropped that series, you did what you needed to get to 13 wins. LSU finally gets a sweep in conference play against the Ole Miss Rebels. I hate Ole Miss. I absolutely love sweeping them. It was the joy of my life.
Baby.
Yes. So we have now swept them 2 years in a row, like you said, in Oxford, in Baton Rouge. How sweet it is. LSU finally puts together a good Sunday performance to get the job.
What?
Sunday performance. That was very solid. LSU gets it done, and you get yourself to 13 wins. And the discussion is, okay, you're at 13 wins, but, and it's a big old but. You have Florida, Vanderbilt, Alabama, and South Carolina,
and Ole Miss at the time.
and after I'm saying, post Ole Miss,
Post Ole Miss, yeah.
Post Ole Miss series, all at 13 and 17, and they have all beaten you head to head except for South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But they all have better RPIs than you,
and they all have better strength of schedules.
Yeah, and they have better strength of schedule because your non-conference was absolutely dookie, which is probably why you came to the league 16-2. Anyways, Zach, honestly, there were people saying we're in. You got 13 wins, you're in. I was saying you're out. That was my opinion. You are not. You have not done enough to get in. That's why, looking back, that Alabama series and the way it played out was so huge. Because literally, if you win that one game, you're ahead of every single one of them.
Yep.
Every single one of them. And your RPI is probably better than maybe Bama and Vanderbilt's, right? So, and of course, like you were saying, which this is backtracking a little bit, Ole Miss was on the bubble. We pretty much ended their season.
It makes you want to puke because we mentioned it, Reagan. You think about Bama game 1, Vanderbilt game 2, Florida game 2. Like, you go back to those games, and then obviously there's some others that we could mention, but like those 3 stand out huge.
If you beat Florida in game 2, if you beat Vanderbilt game 2, and you beat Alabama game 1, you're talking about being 16-14, and you're talking about potentially being a host side, a regional host side.
Yep.
It is pretty sickening.
It's disgusting, man.
But we're living in the present. You're playing your best baseball right now.
For sure. Sure.
Ole Miss, it looked really good. Gage jump, Holman, solid as could be. You put it together on Sunday, Ackenhausen, Ulloa. I'm trying to think who closed that game out.
Go ahead. I'll look it up.
Hurd, Lure, and then I think Little.
On Sunday?
Hurd and Lure got in. Yeah.
I got you. Just hang tight.
But either way, you got to what you were saying we needed to get to. But based on so many other SEC teams being 13-17.
Okay, I got it, by the way.
Who was it?
Dutton started, then it's Ackenhausen, then Ulloa, then Lore, then Hurd, then Anderson, then Guidry.
Gotcha.
Guidry closed. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to say nothing until I was for sure.
Yeah. Because of the amount of teams that were at 13 SEC wins, there's gonna be one of them that miss. And in my opinion, the way things have played out now, it's probably, I think, going to be Florida.
Yeah.
I thought after last weekend, the final weekend of SEC play, LSU was on the outside looking in. There were many people who thought they were in. In fact, D1 baseball put them in over Vanderbilt. Maybe they were looking ahead a little bit into the SEC tournament and were saying LSU is going to win one and be good. But Kendall Rogers has been pretty consistent in saying if LSU got to 13, that he'd feel good about them. Maybe it's recency bias and the fact that LSU's playing their best baseball, also that they're the defending national champions.
Yep.
That helps as well. But
I mean,
again,
are you really going to keep Tommy White out of the postseason? You don't.
Right. Right. But in my opinion, if you scratched anything about being defending national champion, about the name LSU, and you just went blind resume, you're putting LSU out at that moment, at that very moment, concluding the last weekend of SEC play. But, Zach, today happens. And now I think you're firmly in. I don't think there's any question about it now.
And you're going to get 2 more games against really good teams.
Absolutely. More potential to add to your resume, to beef your resume, and maybe improve where you're going to wind up, because you're going to be – Zach, I think maybe LSU could have squeaked in at a 3 seed if they lost today. Maybe. They could have gotten in at a 3 seed.
You're squeaking in. You're on the bubble.
But you beat the drum. You beat the heck out of Georgia today and really made a statement win. You jumped your RPI up into the top 25, and I think you're going to be a 2 seed. I think LSU is going to be a 2 seed.
Oh, boy.
One more win, I think that's a guarantee. But I think you are going to be a 2 seed now. If you would have lost today, if you were in, like we said earlier in the season, you're a 3 seed, in my opinion. But nobody wants to see LSU in the regional as a 3 seed.
No.
That would be an absolutely brutal draw. I'm just not going to lie. D1 baseball, like I said, had us in, and they had us in as a 3 seed in Oklahoma State's regional against Dallas Baptist. If I'm Oklahoma State, I'm puking. Like, if that's the draw.
Yeah. Defending natties, defending national championships, and they're playing the rest of baseball right now.
Oh, gosh. I mean, I'd be pretty mad.
Yeah, I would be too.
The reality is, though, I think now you've placed yourself in, and I think LSU's going to be a 2 seed. And again, I don't think anybody wants to see LSU as a 2 seed right now. You're playing your best baseball, defending national champions. Tommy is hot.
Braswell's looking really good.
Coming on. Josh Pearson is doing what he has done every single year he has been at LSU.
Yep.
He's coming on late. Milam continues to play like a veteran.
Milam's hot right now. Ashton Larson didn't get a hit today, but got on base 3 times.
Yes. I mean, and then, dude, Milazzo keeps getting hits too.
And like in the clutch.
Yes. Like in important moments.
It's insane.
You are playing your best baseball right now. And Zach, nobody wants to draw LSU in the regional because Jump and Holman are pitching their best right now too.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
Only playing your best baseball, your pitchers, your 2 starting pitchers.
And your bullpen is somewhat coming together as well.
I would be any team that draws LSU, I would be infuriated. I would be absolutely infuriated. I would feel like it's a slap in the face from the committee. But the reality is it's going to happen to somebody.
Yeah, it's going to happen to somebody. Whether they're a 3 seed or a 2 seed, it's going to suck. Now, here's a big question, Reagan. I'll hold that question. I'll hold that question for later. But
so, Zach, anyway. my point in all that saying, I was catching us up from where we've left off.
Yeah.
LSU did what you needed to do down the stretch to put yourself in postseason play, to put yourself in the conversation. And now with this big victory in the SEC tournament, you have placed yourself squarely in postseason play. And so all of you lovely LSU fans who were trying to accuse Jay Johnson as being the next Ed Orgeron and a Dylan Cruz merchant. You're going to eat your words.
Ding, 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 ding.
I think, Zach, if LSU continues to play the way they're playing, I think they're
in a super.
No surprise when we're playing in a super regional. I don't think there's going to be any surprise at all.
Yeah.
At all. Jay Johnson has finally pushed the right buttons, found a lineup that has been consistent, and they're playing their best now. And Zach, as good as today was, it still was not as what it could be, because one person who's been one of your consistent hitters all season long is in a bit of a slump right now.
Hayden Travinsky.
Him and Jared Jones.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Hayden Travinsky more so than JJ, but JJ had a little bit of a slump this past weekend and today.
Yeah. Correct. Now, one huge thing with Jared that has drastically changed from this year is the plate approach.
Laying off the breaking ball.
I mean, night and day. The dude could not pick up a breaking ball last year or hold off of it to save his life. He got walked twice today.
Yep.
The first times he came to the plate.
Even though he's not getting hits, he's getting on base.
He works pitch counts. He fouls pitches off. He lays off. His plate approach has been phenomenal. And Zach, I hate to say this, but we're going to be looking for a new first baseman next year. We're going to be looking for a new first baseman.
I know. I don't want to say it either, but probably.
That power, somebody going to he's going to get drafted. He's going. He go. And he has shown he does not play a premier defensive position, but he has shown you this year that he can play first base really, really well, because he's been fantastic lately.
Yeah.
He's been fantastic at defense all year, really. Also, Tommy as well. I mean, just phenomenal.
Today, yeah.
Just
phenomenal today.
Just phenomenal. Anyways, okay.
Today for Tommy reminded me of Game 1 versus A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense as a whole has improved. I mean, you put up 0 errors again. You had correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you had an error all weekend against Ole Miss.
I'll go back and look at it, but I think you're probably correct.
So, Braswell has cleaned it up and has been sharp. Tommy has been phenomenal. Milam has been phenomenal. Larson has been awesome. And Braswell at the plate has gotten even better. You're playing your best baseball. That's just the bottom line.
No errors in the last 4 games.
No errors.
Including today.
That's exactly. Your defense has been very solid, and your offense is starting to figure it out. So, all right. We've kind of caught up. Zach, thoughts, games today on the game today? What are your takeaways? What are your big takeaways from today's game, and how big of an impact is this win?
3 moments in the game that defined this game for me. Obviously, in the first inning, when Josh Pearson was able to hit one up the middle, bases loaded, no outs. It seems like now, like all the times that you didn't get those hits early on in the season, and especially in the first half of that SEC play, like you're getting those now. And one of the guys that's doing that, that's been a major culprit for that, is Josh Pearson. I mean, we think back to the Texas A&M series. I can't remember if it was game 1, game 2, but obviously he had the double with the bases loaded against A&M. So, like right now, LSU, they're getting clutch hits when they need to. They are, and they're getting clutch hits from guys from the bottom of the order as well. You think about Josh Pearson, but also you go to, as you mentioned, Reagan, Milazzo. Milazzo also has been getting clutch hits. I think we lost Reagan, but we'll wait until hopefully he can come back in. And okay, it looks like he's back in.
Sorry.
Okay, all good. I said, Reagan, obviously you've been getting those clutch hits lately, right? Yeah. You mentioned Pearson, but another guy at the bottom of your lineup, Alex Milazzo. He has been getting clutch hits lately as well. So 2 moments in the game early on in the first inning when Pearson had his 2 RBI single to give LSU an early lead, and then I can't help me, Reagan. What inning was it? Milazzo, bases loaded. Fourth or fifth, somewhere in there. He had a single and only had 1 RBI because it was so sharply hit to the right fielder. But that moment, and then in the I think it was the second or the third inning when Jump was they had guys on base and you had Condon up to bat. Really 2 moments for Jump. Okay, they had 2 on, 2 out. With the top, and he had the top of the lineup was coming up. And you had Collins. And if you get Collins on, if Collins gets on, then you have Condon up with potentially the bases loaded or 2 guys on, or however the situation was. However it would have worked out, you would have faced Condon in that inning with them either having the bases loaded or with them having already scored and the potential to score more, and you strike out Collins. There was twice in this game, Reagan, where you brought Condon up with nobody on. Maybe 3 times. Like, I think it was almost every time you brought Condon up, there was nobody on base. Yep. That was massive for LSU. But you also think about when Jump did get in trouble, you had the double play ball that got LSU out of it against Condon. Tommy made the play. So
Herring in the 8th.
Herring in the 8th. Okay, yes, I'm sorry, not Jump, but Jump did strike out Collins early on before you had Condon up with potentially the bases loaded, and then yes, later on in the game. So 2 defensive plays that were major in the game, and then obviously late in the game you had Condon up, and Herring was able to. Obviously, and this was before LSU had tacked on the late runs to really separate ourselves and really end the game. So, like, I think we were at 5 runs ahead. It was like 5-1, 6-1, something like that.
You had 2 on, 1 out.
1 out with Condon up.
Yeah, and Collins. With Condon up.
With Condon up, and Condon hit a extremely sharp ground ball. Could have gotten down the baseline, but
because it was the double play.
Yeah,
right. It was 2 on, no outs. Condon up in the 8th.
Correct.
They had a 4-run lead, so you're thinking, okay, if he goes yard here, it's a 1-run game.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Tommy snares one that could have easily gotten down the line and makes a double play. So, like, there was 2 moments defensively in the ball game where you had to have LSU answer, and they did. And then there was 2 moments offensively in the ball game where you had to have LSU answer, and they did. So at this point in the season, obviously in the Texas A&M series, especially in the Ole Miss series, you and obviously today, you're having LSU answer when you have to have it, when you need it, when you need separation, or when you need to go score and play catch up. LSU has done it. So that's the biggest thing for me right now from this game is LSU did what they had to do defensively and offensively when they absolutely needed it. And it's been coming from the guys that you've been trusting. I mean, it's coming from the veterans. Josh Pearson, veteran. Alex Milazzo, veteran. Gage Jump, who obviously has become your ace here in the latter half of the season. Getting you answer. Herring, the guys you've trusted all year out of the bullpen, getting you the ground ball. Tommy, veteran, making an extremely great defensive play on that double play against Condon there in the 8th inning. So, I mean, yeah. But then you have guys you have the freshmen that are making an impact as well. Stephen Milam had the
Dude.
base hit, RBI, home run. The small, as you mentioned in the text thread, smallest guy in the tournament hits the first home run of the weekend, which was pretty cool.
He
home
also
run
play where he's running. I mean, the dude. The freshmen are Larson,
good.
Dude, are going to be stars. Milo makes a play that is extremely difficult. He makes it look super easy. He runs, I mean, literally to get the ground ball is running directly towards second base, fields it, and has to turn entirely around and jump throw it to first base and does it with ease. And the runner was out. It was a phenomenal play. I am so impressed. Like Milam, like when Larson comes up to bat, I'm like, okay, he's a freshman. But like that with Milam has like gone away from me.
Yeah.
Like I have to remind myself that dude is a true freshman because the way he carries himself and the way he's been playing just is very veteran, and I'm very impressed with him.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the future with him.
It's like everything right now, it's clicking. Like everything is clicking right now. So, it was just extremely impressive to see. And I'll be honest, like the guy that I've been the most impressed with these last 2 to 3 weeks, that I've been the most impressed with, Tommy obviously has been extremely hot, but I expect that from Tommy. Okay.
Yeah.
The guy that I've been the most impressed with the last 2 to 3 weeks has been Michael Braswell, dude. Three hit day today.
Yeah.
And like early on in the season, I mean, when he came in, you're like, okay, this is going to be a defensive guy. He'll probably hover around 200, 250 for the whole year. Yeah. He'll be on the back half. He'll be in the bottom third of the lineup. Like, that's what you expected. And especially early on in the season, like, we were like, okay, this is what we expected. And then dude has been phenomenal for throughout SEC play. And even, wow, what a play. Sorry, I'm also watching the State Ole Miss game. State outfielder just made a diving catch. But the last 3 weeks, when you've absolutely had to have it, he's been great. And I love what they have done in putting him in the leadoff. It's worked. It worked against Ole Miss. And today he started 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Tommy. And then you have Tommy to follow him. So if he can continue to get on base, get hits, and give an opportunity for Tommy, because you think a lot of the times for the first half of the season, like Tommy was coming up the bat, and there wasn't many chances he had with guys on base. Right? I mean, how many solo home runs did Tommy hit in the first half? A bunch. Like how many solo home runs did LSU hit? Period. In the first half of the season. Right? What's up, Zeke? Love you. So love you, bud. Hey, go Tigers.
Say go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
There you go.
So now it feels like, as you mentioned, Jay has found what he likes most in the lineup. And I'll say this, Reagan, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago in our last podcast, or maybe 2 podcasts ago. I want Mac Bingham out there in center field. He had a hit today. I think, did he have a walk?
Yep.
I think he got hit as well. Yep. He had a walk, he got hit, and he had a single as well up the middle today. He had a good day as well. I feel like Mac Bingham needs to be out there, and then you put Kling in there when you need to have the defense.
Also,
right?
Condon
diving catch.
Condon's first at bat, that ball was tailing away from him quickly, and he went and got it, and it was a great catch. It really was.
And we cannot fail to mention Larson's catch, right?
Dude, man. That
He had one earlier in the game that got over him. And he had to watch it bounce over for the ground rule double. But then you had the phenomenal catch against the wall. A lot of people said it was going to save a home run. I don't think it was a home run. I think it was going to be close. It was going to be close, but I think it was going to hit the wall.
Correct.
Regardless, it was going to be at least a double, and Larson saved it. So it was really cool.
I don't think it was. I agree with you. I don't think it was going over the wall, but I will say this: the trajectory looked like it was going to hit the top of it.
Yeah.
And if Larson misses it and it hits the top and goes over, that can be a home run. And if you go watch the replay, it looks like to me he catches it at the top of the wall.
Yeah, he does. Right there.
Right.
At the yellow line, maybe not the top of the yellow line, but at the yellow line.
Man. Regardless, it was, man, phenomenal catch. Like, to go make that catch, because that outfield is so stinking huge. As a true freshman, your first time there, just really impressive. Very
big
impressive.
time. Big time play.
Absolutely.
Reagan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we've pretty much covered everything, Zach, but, man, Gage jump, 105 pitches, absolute nails, one of the best, if not the best, offense in the country, and you absolutely handcuffed them. I mean, he absolutely handcuffed them. He retired 18 of his last 19 batters faced, 7 strikeouts on the day, had them guessing all the time. Every time he got traffic on, I mean, he found a way out pretty quickly. Like the ground rule double that got over his head, the very next pitch was a line out to Braswell. So, just, man, you got to tip your cap to Jump. That was the performance of his year. Now, some may say the performance at Missouri was better. I would disagree. This was a way harder task.
You're going up against a lot stiffer competition.
I mean,
Georgia's way better than Missouri. They're the best offense in the country.
Right, exactly. And you handcuffed them. This was his performance of the year by far. He looked as comfortable as he has all year long at 9:30 on a Tuesday, like
on 4-day rest.
On 4 days rest. That was big leaguer stuff, and that's what Jay Johnson said in his post-game press conference, that it was big league stuff. Speaking of post-press conferences, Zach, did you see what Wes Johnson said?
RP mentioned it. I didn't see it. I've got to go back and watch it.
Holy cow! Oh, okay. So you don't know what he said at all?
No,
Zach.
I gotta go watch it. I watched our press conference, post-game press conference. I didn't see Wes's.
This little Jay Johnson wannabe, little Jay Johnson's assistant, now head coach, bro, literally verbatim says there are days when you get beat and there are days when you let the other team win. Are you kidding me? And he was saying today was that day that we let them win. Are you kidding me? He wasn't saying we just let them win, like we handed it to them. He was saying that we played so bad we let them win. But the dude did not give a lick of credit to LSU just beating them at all.
Gage Jump shut you down.
Exactly. How
your best hitter went 0 for 4. Yeah, you let us win.
Can you say as a pitching coach that you let them win, that your team failed to the point that the other team won, when the effort of their starting pitcher, Gage Jump, like that, you didn't let that happen. He went out there and did that himself.
You got beat.
You got beat by Gage Jump.
Yeah.
Period. And he knows that. He knows that. I was a little peeved by it. I was like, oh, like really, dude? Really. I mean, Zach, that's literally what he said.
Yeah, I gotta go watch it.
He says some days you get beat and some days you let a team win, and that's what happened today. I was so shocked.
Letting a team win is what LSU did against Alabama game 1.
Absolutely.
That is letting a team win. What happened today is getting shut down by a pro pitcher.
Yeah. I was shocked.
Ole Miss just took a lead, by the way. Will Furness hits a solo shot. 1-0. I'm going for State, by the way.
Oh, of course. I will say Hail State all day long against Ole Miss. Every single time. If somebody gave me tickets to an Ole Miss versus Mississippi State game, I would wear State.
Yeah.
I would put on a Mississippi State hat.
I have done it for the Egg Bowl.
100%.
I've put on Mississippi State gear for an Egg Bowl.
100%.
When I was young.
100%. Yeah. I love you, Mike Bianco, but God, I can't stand Ole Miss. And it's really I can't stand Ole Miss. Anyways, Zach, in other news, you won today, which pretty much puts you in, but it helps that Florida lost and Alabama lost.
Yeah.
Because now you get to go play at least 2 more games, potentially add another win to your resume, and they got to sit at home. And they have to rest with 13 and 17.
13 and 18, technically.
Yeah. 13 and 18. Sure. Yeah. So, and Zach, South Carolina was coming into this SEC tournament limping. I mean, lost 6 straight coming into the SEC tournament.
Ooh.
And Bama kind of got waxed by them today. So, man, I think Alabama's in, but they're going to be sweating it. Florida and Bama are going to be sweating it. One of them I think will get in, but I think they'll be sweating it. They better hope and pray no bid stealers pop up.
Which I sent a message today. It's a good thing that ECU beat Rice.
That's right.
Right, because Rice would have been a bid stealer.
Absolutely. All right, Zach. I guess we need to kind of transition. Do we need to have some comments we need to talk about?
Yeah, we can do some comments before we transition here to LSU versus Kentucky. Anything else on the game today?
Man, it was awesome. It was a great game. I was from start to finish. It was just.
I've watched the highlights.
Great game.
2 times now, and I'm gonna watch them after this again.
Great.
Then I'm gonna watch the State Ole Miss game and hope that State wins.
Yeah. Phenomenal game today. The way they played today showed me that they really want this, that they care, that they can, as Jay Johnson has said, because there's been a few times Jay has said, well, we're one of the best 15 teams in the country, and I've rolled my eyes. I will admit it. I've rolled my eyes. Today, you played like a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah.
Because you waxed a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah.
And LSU beat A&M 2 out of 3 and beat Georgia like that today. This team can compete with anybody.
Yeah.
It can.
You need a few more guys. You need maybe 2 more guys in the bullpen to emerge. I think you're comfortable with Herring. I think you're comfortable with Nate Ackenhausen. I think you're comfortable with Christian Little. I think you're comfortable with Gavin Guidry and Iowa. So, can Hurd come along? Can Justin Lohr come along? Can Sammy Dutton, which we know what Sammy Dutton is. Sammy Dutton is going to give you 1 to 2 innings, and that's what he is. But
that we failed to say, The one negative today
Oh, yeah. Go
was
ahead.
leaving Herring in for the ninth.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do agree with you on that.
You were up 9-1. Why is
You don't need Herring. Yeah.
Why?
Which he threw, 30?
31 pitches?
Which he probably could come back. He probably could come back in some capacity. Probably not next game, but the following game, depending on if they're in the winner's bracket or in the elimination game.
I would be surprised tomorrow if you're winning against Kentucky and Herring gave you an inning. I wouldn't be surprised by that.
All right, Reagan. Let's get to some comments here because we do have a lot to get to. RP said, I want UL to host a regional LSU to be in it so we can shut that guy Nick up. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Honestly, I think that guy is just trolling.
Yeah, probably.
Genuinely, I think
Ryan said, with me living 15 miles from UL, I probably would be able to go to a game if LSU went there. He also said the defense played phenomenal this year or today. RP asked us if we had seen the Wes Johnson. I'll go and watch it. RP said we need one more year of Gage Jump. Sorry to let you know, RP, he is gone. He is gone. I'm not going to let – you remember last year how I was telling you I think we could get Ty back, and then Ty went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the second half of the season, and I was like, just kidding. Yeah. I would have said – I could have said that, after the first maybe four weekends of SEC play, but I'm not – you can't say that now. I'm sorry, RP. He's gone. He's gone. And I'm starting to believe that Bear is as well. I'm starting to believe that he's going to be gone as well. I would love if you're going to ask me who's between those two comes back, maybe Bear, but probably not either one. Excuse me. Larson's catch was wild. I agree, Ryan. Let's see. Got to come out tomorrow with some intensity and focus. I think they've been doing that. I mean, in a lot of the games, even on Sunday games where they've lost, they've started hot. Like, they've started really hot. They've really done that most of this year. And they've early on in games been really good, and then a lot of times it was the bullpen that lets you down late in games, especially early on. And now you're starting to see, you're starting to get those guys like we just mentioned that you trust a lot more. You trust Griffin Herring, you trust Christian Little, you trust Gavin Guidry to get you an inning or so. You trust Nate Ackenhausen. You trust Fidel Ayoa. So now it's just a matter of, can those guys continue to be consistent, and can we get one to three more guys that we really trust? So, because it's getting that time of season, Reagan, where it's going to be narrowed down to really 6, maybe 8 pitchers that you really trust, right? And LSU, I think right now they're kind of around that 6 area, right? So can you get a couple more? We'll see. Ryan said Hurd needs to be the guy he was late last season. Yeah.
Be nice. Be nice.
He does. Which I think, isn't he a true junior? He's a true junior, I think.
I think so.
Based on what he's done this year, I could see Hurd coming back next year.
Yeah.
Maybe. You could maybe see Hurd come back next year. But anyways, all right, Reagan, let's take a break, and then we come back. We need to preview LSU Kentucky tomorrow morning at 9:30. And obviously discuss 2 major things, news out of the transfer portal. So we'll be back right after this.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at OneNationDoty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
Right back at it here in the Tigers Avenue. Give you a little preview. on the LSU Kentucky game, 9:30 tomorrow morning. Hey, Zach, if they play like they did today, I don't care if it's a 9:30.
Yeah, I'm good with it too. I just hate having to be at work and watch it, man. I was trying to go back and forth. So like whenever they were hitting, I was just like, hey, Reagan, shoot me the updates. That way, at least I could work some. At least I could be somewhat productive. But I told Jesse, which obviously Jesse Reagan, he's our department manager. I told him, I was like, hey, Jesse, look, I'm just gonna let you know between 9:30 and 12 o'clock, I'm not gonna be productive. I'm not gonna be as productive. I'll be productive, but I'm not gonna be as productive as I typically am. So, anyways.
Yeah, well, it'll be about the same tomorrow. So, LSU Kentucky, another huge opportunity to boost your RPI and really solidify yourself. I would love to see LSU come out tomorrow and beat Kentucky. I think if we lose, I'm not going to be upset. I'll be bummed that we didn't win, but I'm not going to be upset. If you lose today, you're sweating, really. But you have done what you needed to do. So you can go out there tomorrow and play loose, play free, and try and get you another huge quality win. Zach, we were talking about this a little bit. Who do you pitch tomorrow? Do you give Holman the ball, or do you hold him off for a potential elimination game? And I'll let you kind of give your thought on that and kind of what we discussed a little bit already.
So we disagree on what our decision would be, like the decision we would make. But we don't necessarily disagree with each other's decision, if that makes sense to our viewers and listeners. So I said in our group message that I would hold Holman for the next game because if you win the game, then you have your second best available arm, right, outside of Gage Jump for the winner's bracket game. And a chance to have, which if you win, you beat Kentucky, and then you have a big chance to have 3 wins, and you're going to have somebody who was your ace for the majority of the season. He's your second best guy. Obviously, Holman's phenomenal against what is likely going to be their number 2, number 3. Right, for whoever we're playing. And then if you lose and you're in an elimination game, I would much rather have Holman pitching in an elimination game for a chance to get a second win in the tournament than bullpen. Throw the bullpen guys out there, maybe Nate, right? So that is my thinking. I am okay with him pitching tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be out here like, this is a terrible decision. What are we doing? Like, I completely understand, because with your mentality, and I'll let you share on that. I won't overstep your thought process there. But with your mentality, I also understand it as well with your thinking. My just thinking is I would much rather have him available, and mostly it's with the thought process of if you lose, right? So imagine, let's just say this: you pitch him tomorrow and you lose, okay? Then you're going, who the heck are we throwing in an elimination game? We're going to have to throw a bullpen. Like, we're going to have to string together in an elimination game, some guys. But if you do lose tomorrow, you can throw home in an elimination game. And then if you win the elimination game, then you can worry about throwing the bullpen guys for the following game. So, and then at that point, you're in game 4, right? Yeah. So that's just my thought process. Reagan, you can share on yours, because obviously we disagree a little bit on here.
Well, I just think I would pitch Holman. I mean, it's really that simple. He's your next guy. So I think naturally you go to him and do the same thing. Try and do the same thing you did with Jump that Jump did today. You try to repeat that with Holman. Obviously, it's going to look a little different, but that's just my thought. You have done what you needed. In my opinion, you've done what you needed to do to get yourself in the NCAA tournament. So in reality, I don't think you have to overthink this game, that game, saving him for this, holding him for that. I don't think you have to do that anymore. It is my thought process.
Well, see, to just counter that just for one moment. So you said because you're at the point now where it feels like, okay, we're good. We can rest at ease now. Feels like we're locked now for the postseason. That's part of the reason why I'm like throwing, because I'm like, now you can kind of tinker a little bit and say, okay, let's try to get a few more wins, right? So anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there. Instead of, because if you're in a we have to win right now, we must win right now scenario, then you throw a home in, right? You throw a home in. But you're not in that scenario anymore. At least that's the feeling. So then that's why I'm like, maybe you get greedy. You try to you try to throw somebody like, you get one out of Sammy. You get maybe 2 innings, 3 innings out of Nate. You do that tomorrow, and then you can try to get greedy with Holman if you win a game. If you win the game,
right? And again, I won't be like you were saying. I won't be upset if they try and do something like that tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I would like to see, as an LSU fan, I would like to see what Holman can do against Kentucky, right? Because you're talking about Kentucky. You're talking about like Georgia's one of the best teams in the country, but they're like borderline nationals. They're going to host, but they're like borderline national seed, right? They're not the cream of the crop. Because now that they lost, Georgia's probably not going to be a top national 8 seed. Virginia probably is going to take that now. They may wind up at 10 or something like that. Like Kentucky, if they go 0-2, they're going to be a top 3 seed. Like if they go 0-2 in this SEC tournament, it doesn't matter.
They're going to be a top 8 national seed.
They're a top 8 seed. So it is the cream of the crop, right? The best of the best. So as a fan, I really just want to see what can Holman do against the best, right? And Kentucky's been that this year. We haven't played Kentucky this year, and I would love for us to go out and beat Kentucky tomorrow.
Yeah.
And build on our confidence and build on what LSU's been doing. And I think the natural flow of things is to go to Holman. Again, I'm fine with either way. I'm also speaking from what I think Jay Johnson is going to do. I think Jay Johnson is going to throw Holman tomorrow. I'll be a little bit surprised if he doesn't. Again, I won't be upset, but I'll be surprised if Holman's not on the bump tomorrow. Because he has talked so much today and in his post-game press conference. Even in his, in-game little interview that they did on the headset, he mentioned in post-game that they had prepped Jump to do this. And I think in the same way, they've prepped Holman.
They might have prepped Holman the same way. Yeah.
To follow, right? 4-day rest. That's naturally, I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow, the way they've done things. So,
which is very possible.
Yeah.
And again, I don't really completely disagree with that thought process either. It's really just which do you prefer, right? Like, I love Italian food, but I also like Japanese food. But which one do you prefer right now? I love both of them, but which one are you going to choose, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
But anyways, look, Kentucky's a stout team. I really don't have a clue as to who they're going to pitch tomorrow. If I had to guess, Zach, you're not going to see one of their aces, if I had to guess. I don't think they would throw one of their aces tomorrow. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe somebody has already seen if they've released it. I doubt they've released it. But I'm guessing you don't see like one of their dudes tomorrow. So I think if you go Holman, you got a pretty good chance at it. And that certainly can build your resume, boost RPI, boost your spot. And that's another reason I'm leaning Holman is, man, just why not try and beef your resume up as much as possible? If you beat Georgia, then you beat Kentucky, and then you go 0-2 after that because you ran out of pitching, oh well, right? You beat Georgia and Kentucky, and you really beefed your resume up some.
Yeah.
Because the reality is you're going to turn around and probably lose to Kentucky. They're probably going to go beat somebody and come back and play you again, and you're probably going to lose to Kentucky because you're pitching, right?
Yeah.
So why
You
not
don't have the arms.
now? So, anyways, that's just my thought process. We'll see tomorrow how it plays out.
Either way, I'm fine with it, to be honest. So, anyways, huge game tomorrow. Hopefully the Tigers can come out hot. Hopefully, whether it's Holman on the mound or whoever on the mound, they can go out and shove, and Tigers can get another win and build on their resume for the postseason. Hopefully so. Ryan says, I rather Johnny Holstaff it tomorrow. That's his opinion. Totally understandable. Ryan said, I guess this was after our discussion with who LSU kind of confidence out. Can Anderson give you a solid outing out of the pen? I don't know about right now in the SEC. Can he do it versus one of the three, the 3 or the 4 seed in a regional? Yeah, probably. But anyways, we'll see. They got to get there first.
Yep.
So let's see what happens. All right, Reagan. Transition here to the transfer portal, because obviously there is 2 major additions. One for LSU football and one for LSU basketball. One completely happy with, and one you're like, okay, well, we went and got what we needed. Not completely satisfied, but we went and got what we needed. Why don't you discuss those 2 additions, Reagan?
Yeah, sure. First and foremost, defensive tackle, Javier Suggs. LSU needed to go add a defensive tackle. You went and added a defensive tackle. Now, it's at the Division II level. He's coming from Grand Valley State, and I understand everybody's going to kind of be like, okay, you whiffed on this or that. But I don't think you whiffed based on what Brian Kelly has said. I just don't think that he wanted to pay them what they wanted to pay. It has been made known that Dominic Williams wanted $1.2 million, and we know that Will Campbell's not making $1.2 million. So why would Dominic Williams want to make $1.2 million, right? And he made the statement, I don't want players that just want to be bought. Now, people, I think, have kind of run with that and been like, oh, he's just going to get behind in the NIL era, and he's old and decrepit, and he don't want to pay players. You got to pay them now if you want to keep up. That's not what he said. He said, I don't want players that just want to be bought. He made it very clear in his interview with Jacques Doucette that he wants players who want to be here, who want to be developed, who want that round 1 type of NFL draft type of experience at LSU, compete for championships, and which people want to ignore the fact that he said this, and have great opportunities in the NIL world. But he said very plainly, I am not just going to buy players, because the reality is you've got players that just want whoever's going to win the bidding war, that's where I'm going to go. Okay? Brian Kelly doesn't want that mentality. He wants players that want to be at LSU, that want to be developed,
and can make a pretty penny while doing it at LSU.
Yeah.
Because it has been made known that they were willing to pay Simeon Barrow and Dominic Williams exactly what Will Campbell is making right now. Will Campbell is going to be a top 5 draft pick this year.
Yeah.
So it ain't that they ain't willing.
A big question that these kids need to consider that I don't think they are right now, Reagan, is, okay, let's say I accept the $1.2 million right now and I go to this school, but I don't get developed into a first round talent.
Correct.
I go in the second or the third round.
Yep.
But I go to LSU, I don't make the 1.2. I make six
A or something like that.
I make 6 figures, but I get developed into a first round talent. The difference of pay between a first round talent and a second round talent and a third round talent, it's a lot of money.
Yep.
It's a lot of money. So you are basing your decision off an extremely temporary amount of money.
Yeah.
Whereas you could make a major decision to potentially for the future to go be developed at a school that is proven to push out first round draft talent and make lifelong money.
Yeah. Either way, which we're getting sidetracked a little bit, but I just wanted to say that. People are saying, well, LSU's not willing to pay players. That's hogwash. LSU in recent history has put together a very good collective that has a great amount of money in it, that is getting organized and is getting better. And they're not going to have any problem paying players. Okay. But as the CEO of this program, Brian Kelly doesn't want to bring a mentality into the locker room that I just want to be bought. Give me my 1.2 and I'll come your way. Okay, we'll give you 1.2, but what are you going to do for us on the field? How hard are you going to practice? How bad do you want to be developed? Right?
Yeah.
Hey, we'll give you 1.2 million, but what if he shows up and he's a crap attitude, right? And he's a toxic locker room player. And I'm not saying Dominic Williams or Simeon Barrow would have been that. I'm just saying I think that's what Brian Kelly wants to avoid.
Yeah.
I think he
paint a player that doesn't get developed and is more bad for the team than good.
Yeah, he just came for the check because you paid him. Anyways, regardless of all that, you got Javier Suggs. People are going to say, well, he's Division II. You settled. That's fine. But Javier Suggs also had offers from the defending national champions, Michigan.
Yep.
From Florida State, Wisconsin, and more. Plenty of Power 5 schools wanted Javier Suggs.
Yeah.
Like Michigan wanted Javier Suggs. Florida State had him on a visit in the Florida State uniform, taking photos. Okay? It's a solid pickup. Now, is he immediately plug and play? We don't know that yet. He's going to take a jump from Division II to Division I. But regardless, you needed more there. You added a depth player, and you added a guy who could potentially be a great player. Now, he's Division II. There's a guy named Jared Verse who dominated LSU 2 years in a row, played at Florida State. You want to know where he transferred from? The Division II level. He came from Albany. Okay? Defensive lineman. Just because they're from Division II doesn't mean they're going to be a crap player.
Yeah.
I mean, Jared Verse turned into a round 1 pick. So
there's also a lot more factors there. Like it doesn't just because they're Division II doesn't mean it is a talent issue.
That's right.
Coming out of high school. it could be a great issue.
Sure.
So there's a lot more to think about there
And
than just that. By the way, LSU. Ole Miss still winning 1-0. State has a man on third, 2 outs.
also, he's coming from Grand Valley State. I am almost certain Brian Kelly still has connections at Grand Valley State. Of course, he was the coach there. Won a couple championships. Won a couple championships, and I'm sure had some guys he trusted, and he talked with them about JVR Suggs.
Yep.
Lastly, and very briefly, because we're well over time, LSU Zach men's basketball. From our understanding, is they didn't have any more scholarships after they added the G Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the one thing, Zach, that you and I both were like, man, you really need this, but you don't have the scholarship for it?
You need a big. You need a big.
And LSU goes to the JUCO ranks.
Steals from Baylor.
Noah Boyd steals a player from Baylor. The numbers are not eye-popping because Noah had an injury, but he's transferring in from McCook Community College and had lots of Power 5 interest, including Baylor, who he was committed to at one time, reopened his recruitment, and LSU landed him. 7-foot big man, right, Zach? Exactly what we were wanting. How this plays out, Zach, we still don't know. Maybe another player hits the portal, but the portal's closed. So maybe maybe there's some NIL funding for his scholarship. You know what I mean? Maybe, or for his tuition.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is there, but
somehow they got him.
The self-imposed restriction is still present through this season, but they went and got him. So it wasn't like Matt McMahon was ignoring the fact that he needed a big man. I think he knew it, and he went and found a way to get it, and he got it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this roster. This roster now, Zach, is certainly complete and full of depth pieces, and I'm very excited about it. So the addition of Noah Boyd is certainly huge. Pretty excited about that.
For sure.
So, all right. Any comments we need to hit on, Zach, before we go? We're an hour 10 in.
Carl said, don't let LSU get hot. Ryan said, look at Zy Alexander last year. Came from Division II. And I think Zy Alexander was a lot better. Maybe not a lot better, but I think he was better last year than people thought.
Agreed. And I think he can be good again this year.
Yeah. I think he can be really good this year as well.
With Raymond. So, all right, guys. It's been a great show. It's been a great day for the LSU Tigers. I think it's safe to say the LSU Tigers have put themselves in postseason baseball, which is always because that means you get to watch more baseball games, which we all
love.
Postseason baseball for LSU is always a blast. So, you got another big game tomorrow against Kentucky Wildcats. We'll see who they throw. We'll see who LSU throws, and hopefully the Tigers can get another big victory to continue this confidence and this building into the offseason because, like you said, can't let them get hot. You let them get hot, could be some problem. Could be making some noise in a regional somewhere.
Let's get it.
I love it. Postseason baseball is definitely here, and it's here now. I'm excited. So, appreciate you guys hanging in there. All the comments. Y'all been really interactive tonight. We appreciate that. We'll see you next time here in the Tigers Avenue. Faster here. Take us out. Peace.